Welcome back to the Wildly Capable Show. Today's episode, we're going to be talking a little bit about what's going on in my life currently. I am on a really incredible weight loss journey, and that opened up quite a can of worms just in conversations with people and brought up some really interesting topics Joey and I think are very important. And so we're going to not start the episode with where I am right now, but I have a very long history, as most women do. Most millennial women have a long history with relationships, as with dieting and body image, and what are our goals, and what do we want our bodies to look like. And then you throw in having kids into that mixture, and all the opinions are readily available. Right? Love the way you are. Your body is perfect. It birthed these babies. It's fine. Or bounce back quickly, you can do it. Everyone's giving you a message all the time. And I know for me, I had to get to a point where I quieted all the noise and made a decision for myself and found some really empowering tools through that journey, which we will leave you with at the end of this episode. But today, I'm going to kind of let Joey interview me a little bit. And we're going to dive into the topic of body image, being a woman, having kids, being a woman in her 30s who has goals and aspirations, but also loves the Lord, knows that my identity is through Christ, is in Christ. And so those things are sometimes competing. So how do you want to dive in?
Yeah, I was thinking about this, and when you and I first got married, when we first started dating, when we first got together, we got to know each other early on, years ago in high school. It was very good for me to know what you had gone through, from an eating disorder to therapy to treatment perspective. Like that, knowing all of that allowed me to protect you in a way. And some of that would be like our entire relationship. I'm very intentional about not saying things that might be like
Trigger.
insensitive,
A
right?
trigger. Yeah.
I think insensitive that no man should say to his wife regardless, but like I'm also aware of it and I can intervene if it's happening in some other capacity.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any specific examples. I'm just saying I have been aware of it and have thought about it. And I care about you so much that I've wanted to protect you from that ever becoming your reality ever again, because I know that's something that you went through. Now, that being said, why am I bringing this up right now on the in the midst of your current success and growth during a decision that you made to go on a weight loss journey? Well, I know that this topic is messy. It's weird. It can be awkward for people to talk about, especially from a male's perspective. Like, oh, wow, must be nice to blah, 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 right? Must be nice to, how many times have I heard that? Or if it's not must be nice, it's almost like demonizing the conversation. You shouldn't talk about that. You shouldn't glorify losing weight, because not everybody can lose weight. Not everybody should lose weight. Again, not saying that these are not real in some cases. I'm just saying this is what people will say. And they will almost tell you that you're going to cause somebody to have like an eating disorder of some capacity.
Mm-hmm.
We get told we're going to cause people to have eating disorders all the time, just because we tell people don't eat processed foods and try to be more healthy. But the reality is that you've actually been through that. You've actually done it.
Yeah.
You've actually been through treatment. And I don't want to, we've done a full episode on this before. So I don't need to kind of stir the whole thing up. I don't think we need to go through it, but I'd like you to give me the highlights of when you first realized like your weight was something that you recognized and how you felt about it.
Yeah, I will give you the highlights. So I would say it was in early junior high, seventh grade, really pivotal year for a lot of us girls. And insecurities, balling up, whatever becomes a thing. I start restrictive eating, meaning like I'm counting how many calories I'm eating and I'm trying to offset that. So at one point, I'm eating 900 calories a day, and then I'm jumping on the elliptical at my parents' house and running off 900 calories.
Sure. So totally unhealthy behavior.
Totally unhealthy.
And
Seventh
this is
grade.
junior high.
Junior high, yeah, that kind of evolves. That gets tired. I kind of switch gears a little bit. This is sort of like where the dangers of online searching can come in. I found a lot of people at the time like vlogging their eating disorder. And so I found that on YouTube, and I was actually learned a lot from them in a negative way. So that's something, if you have daughters, to look out for. I'm not sure how prevalent that is today, but that was a thing back then. And so yeah, I think that trend continued. This thing I could wield, this thing I could manipulate, this identity of mine I could form through something as destructive as what became bulimia, really took root 7th, 8th, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade. And in my senior year of high school, I ended up going to like an inpatient treatment center. This is after years of therapy and dietitians and my parents like trying to kind of like solve the issue. Like they were aware of it. I was active participant in church, youth group, very normal kid. You wouldn't necessarily know on the outside. So yeah, then I ended up in treatment and came home my senior year to finish out school.
And so treatment was a whole lot of, as I understand it. I've heard all kinds of stories, but a lot of breaking this mental cloud of I'm not allowed to do XYZ, or I need to lose weight, or like almost like these chains that are causing you to keep. It's like an addiction of
Yeah,
sorts.
for sure.
And right, so if you look at it that way, that's why I'm bringing this up right now. Addiction, and you tell somebody, like, let's say if it's alcoholism, you wouldn't want to give them a drink, 10 years later.
Right.
Well, again, we're talking about totally different things here, but in a way, the point still makes sense to me. And so we want to be very sensitive. I know that you always will be very sensitive as a result of that, because of the things that you've been through and gone through, and out the other side today. Since then, you've had 4 children.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, give me the highlights since then. So since treatment, you've.
Yeah, so I came out of treatment. Actually, it was great. It was a Christian-based center, but it's kicked up a lot in me of just like, okay, if I can go to this treatment center and I at least leaned in to where I ate what they told me to eat and I didn't like gain a bunch of weight, right? That's your initial fears. Like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen now that I have this control lever kind of removed from
Hmm.
me? Now, is my body going to be out of control? Will it be chaos? And it was not. So it was wonderful. I had like a 60-day period where it was like intense, nurses, everything. And then like a 30-day kind of like, you're not like a house where you're more integrated into society. Like we could go to the mall for the first time and just like reintegrate. It was a very interesting experience. For anyone who's been through that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyways, so that was one golden nugget I gained from that, is like, okay, my body won't spin into chaos, but it left me completely uneducated around the quality of food, how food actually works in the body, how my body actually could be fueled in a more effective way for more strength, how I could manipulate in a good way muscle mass versus stored body fat. That they didn't cover. They didn't teach any of that. It was very much like the psychological like breaking of the horse, like battle your demons, face your traumas and eat the cookie because it's not going to make you fat, was kind of like the 90s, early 2000s method of eating disorder therapy. I don't know if that's changed or not. Anyways, that's what I was dealing with. And then I had 4 kids. And in the midst of that 4 kids, I really took on a new badge of like, okay, this food thing that used to be my enemy, that I used to use in a negative way, I'm going to completely flip it on its head, learn everything I can about food, and then I'm going to make sure that all my daughters know how food works in the body, how to fuel them, how wonderful it can be, how celebratory it can be, how delicious it can be, and also how it has ripple effects in other areas of society. I can't just eat in a way that fulfills my body's needs without also realizing like what does the farmer then have to deal with, and what is the like environmental impact of the food I'm eating. Like food touches so much of society. So that's the like birthplace of Homegrown. It like really was birthed out of like terrible disordered eating relationship with food into now beautiful. I'm learning what real food is for the first time. I'm learning to love food. I'm not scared of it, but here's the key. I'm not scared of it, but I understand its power, and I'm not going to just simply say all food is great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can give food a value. You can say this is nutrient dense, good for me, delicious, honoring my body. And you can also say this is garbage food that's doing nothing for me. And that doesn't mean you have an eating disorder. And that's something I had not pushback on, but like questions about a lot of like, ooh, all food is good food, food is just fuel, it's just calories in, calories out. And I'm like, no. So that's the song I've been singing for 5 years. That's nothing new. But then I feel like this next chapter of what I'm currently on is now an even deeper understanding of like, okay, I took my body on a great journey. I did things like 75 hard, where I worked out every day and built up a bunch of muscle. I strength trained for 2 years, really intentionally, probably 3 to 4 times a week. And all of those things, I even tracked my own calories in my fitness pal for quite some time. I wore a glucose monitor for quite some time just to learn about blood sugar. I've been peeling back this onion for a long time, but I never employed all of those tactics at once. I was either so focused on blood sugar and protein that I was like, whatever dietary fat I'm eating, I'm sure it's fine. Or I was so focused on training in the gym that I was like, calories don't matter. I will just eat as much as I want. And I'm learning through my process now is that really utilizing all of those tactics at once is how you get kind of everyone rowing in the right direction. And that is how I can say with confidence that like my body isn't broken. I was thinking for a while like, geez, this is just the weight my body wants to be, I guess.
Mm.
Like, I had 4 kids and now I am just this way.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I even asked my coach on my initial call, like, I feel like my body's broken. How do you know this is going to work for me? And she very specifically and very quickly and very gently was like, let me break down what your traditional breakfast looked like and where we can tweak it a little to where it's not sabotaging your fat burning journey, it's increasing it. And so now that's where I am today.
So the decision to lose weight, I want to hone in on that. When would you say you got to a point where you thought to yourself, I want to lose weight now?
I would say I've been trying to, and lose weight's like specifically like burn fat, keep muscle.
Mm-hmm.
I want to keep my muscle, burn fat, burn body fat. I would say I've been wanting to lean out like that for probably 2 to 4 years.
Mm.
My weight has kind of fluctuated between kids, but I'd say I'm very an average normal weight. So I even think that was maybe a surprise to some people, but I've wanted to lean out for several years and I always kind of thought that these things would help me. Like, I was really surprised when I did 75 hard and didn't lose a single pound.
Yeah.
And I was
Was
like,
that frustrating?
I was, I didn't let myself get frustrated. I was just like, that's interesting. But
Mm.
looking back on it, I'm like, ah, dang. I bet you I could have dumped gasoline on that fire in that 75 days if I understood the principles I know now. So in hindsight, I'm probably more frustrated than I was at the time. At the time, I was like, oh, this is just my body,
Sure.
which is funny. I think that's something, especially in the crunchy wellness space. There was a lot of talk about like, you don't want to, lose too much fat. It's bad for your hormones, and you don't want to do XYZ because then this, it's just a lot of like fear around.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk around make your body feel as safe as possible
Yeah.
and remove stressors. And one of the ways to do that is don't let your body be in search of food, right?
Yeah.
Or like don't let it be depleted of calories.
Right.
And yeah, I mean that's very interesting. I don't know that was the successful approach. The keep your body comfortable. So you made a decision you wanted to lose weight. What was the first time you intentionally attempted to lose weight, and what did you do?
So the most recent time, if you remember on this pod, I said I was going to train for a half marathon because I thought
Was that because you wanted to lose weight?
it was a dual purpose. It was like, I have this grander purpose of saying my body's not broken after 4 kids. I just want to say that my body's not broken after
Mm-hmm.
4 kids. What's a way to prove that? Run 13.1 miles.
Totally.
So, but then also I was like, heck yeah, all this extra cardio. bound to do something for me. And I did 13 weeks of training and didn't lose a single pound. And on my 13th week of training out of my 14-week program, I had a meeting with my coach. I had an intake call and I said, hey, I'm running, 10, 15 miles a week, strength training 3 days a week. I think I eat pretty clean. Like everything's organic, tons of lean protein. Like I should be good to go. This is when I was like, is my body broken? And she's like, how do you feel about not running for the duration of our coaching period? And I was like, but I have a goal. And she said, I think you can pick that goal back up when you're done with our coaching experience. And the reason she said she's saying that and what she kind of explained to me is like in my current state, if my goal is to burn body fat,
Mm-hmm.
running is not a good way to do that. For a woman, for a man, it's wonderful. But for a woman, it was not. So she goes into the science and we hope to bring her on the show at some point. Um, but yeah, so that was the first point. And then I think it's interesting. So I basically stopped that and immediately started this program, and now I'm 6 weeks in and I have lost over 11 pounds in 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at like a 2.25 pound weight loss per week on average,
Mm-hmm.
which is insane. And it's like I stopped running the 10 to 15 miles per week. 2 of the last weeks I haven't strength trained at all. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's so funny you say that because, yeah, and I don't begin to think that I understand weight loss, weight gain, to the extremes, right? I know how it works for me, right? I know that if I eat heavily, I slow my cardio down and I lift weights, right? If I eat and I eat a lot of protein and I'm not hungry, almost like I bulk, I will bulk. That is what will happen to me. I know because I've done it. It will for sure work. Like there's not even a question in my mind that if I spent 12 weeks bulking that I could gain 10 pounds. There's just no, I know for a fact I could do it.
10 pounds of muscle, you're
Yeah.
thinking? Yeah.
And whatever else comes with that, probably some fat too. I also know because I've done it that if I want to cut weight, I don't have to really do anything. As long as I have muscle mass of some kind, if I just cut my calories back for a while, I will melt. It just will.
Mm-hmm.
Cut calories or just increase cardio. And in my current state, doing a lot of running cardio training, I can eat whatever. And like I have to like fight to maintain weight.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you were like, I'm gonna run, I'm gonna do 75 hard, yeah, my brain would tell me like, why wouldn't you? If you're using more energy, why wouldn't energy storage be depleted? Right? That's the logic that my brain uses.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think there's probably so many women in the world that would hear that and be like, what? You mean to tell me that if I spend an hour a day on the elliptical and I'm eating super clean, that I could just be, you know, maintaining? And it's like, yeah, that's what you were experiencing. I'm not saying that's for everybody. I know ladies, or at least I've heard of ladies that can drop and gain weight more similarly to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that it's everybody, unless they're lying. But so you stopped running, and what did your diet changes look like? Because if you've been following the show ever, we work really hard around here to eat really well. We're not eating junk food around this house. We're not drinking sodas. We if we drink alcohol, it's like on our anniversary, and it's like we get a drink, we can't finish it, right? So it's like we're not
That's so
alcohol
true.
drinkers. We're not like anti-alcohol in a way, but it's just not really fitting our lifestyle right now. So we don't really drink. It's almost like it would be easy to look at our lives and be like, what do you cut out?
I know. That always frustrated me too. It's like I'd hear of like our friends that were like, yeah, I just stopped eating chips and lost 13 pounds. And I would be like, screw you. Honestly, that makes me so mad.
Put down the Doritos and I'm down 20 pounds. Yeah.
So it's interesting too, like what you said about how your body changes really rapidly to the stimulus. And what I've learned through my program, and again, we're going to have Lisa on the show because she'll be able to explain a lot of this in her scientific ways, but I'm just sharing my experience because I feel like mom to mom, woman to woman, I needed someone to spill the tea for me so I could be like, oh, heck yeah. And actually, Courtney did that. I hired the same coach that Kayla hired, Courtney Ray. And when she was here with us for a weekend, I was like, it was after that weekend that I was like, okay, I'm locked in. So, this is our girl to girl chat about the impact because it truly is so life changing. Like, if you could walk around and not feel insecure about the 15, 20, 25 extra pounds that you're carrying, if you could feel amazing in your body, how much like clearer would your head be if you didn't constantly have to worry about like how you're sitting and what's and how your clothes are fitting. I just the brain clarity is insane when you can remove that. And I'm not fully at that point where I'm like, yes, I have arrived, but I'm just saying I'm seeing the path there and this is good. So she's saying what I learned, my whole point to that spiel is like some bodies are way more adaptive,
Hmm.
way more responsive. Other body types tend to be less responsive in a certain area. Maybe they can put on muscle better, but they have a hard time losing fat. Or maybe they can lean down and lose fat really easily, but they have a hard time putting on muscle. So there's kind of like three categories, and everyone's like a blend of them. But that's something you're experiencing is like your body type. You've always been lean.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've always been active. And you haven't always eaten well, but you have eaten well for the last over a decade. And so, yeah, I think you get annoyed when people are like, must be nice, Joe. And you're like, I ran 70 miles last week or whatever crazy number. But keeping in mind different body types lend themselves to different timelines,
Mm.
which is really helpful. And you might think you're one body type, but you're actually a completely other one,
Yeah.
which has been my experience. So, what was your question? What am I eating? What am I cutting out?
So the thought was, we, I think, can be the stereotypical crunchy family, and you have a hard time losing weight, and it feels unfair, or everything we know about clean eating, we're doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have the best, produce, the best meats. We're not using any seed oils, but like going out to eat is a super extreme rare occasion. It's like, even if we do that, we're looking for the clean options. We're always protein forward, and we're physically active. We work out. We have weights in our house. We have a gym. We're running. It's like,
Tell me about it. I should be shredded.
and then, you're like, right, can't lose weight. And I just feel like there's so many people out there that need to hear this, because you can be doing everything right, and there was a small tweak that you were able to make. And that's what I want you to kind of share. And then we're going to get into, and I have another question. So what was it that was like groundbreaking, that you were eating, that you were like, oh my gosh, this is where I was maybe messing up?
Yeah. So in the current, maybe ancestral-ish diet, I was definitely overeating my dietary fat. And I was overeating my dietary fat because I was eating healthy fats, good fats, nice, beautiful olive oil, some saturated fat, and like egg yolks, things like that. But I was overeating for a body that has excess stored body fat. And something that I have said before is like the ancestral way of eating is wonderful for the ancestral body. But if you are in a place where you have extra body fat that you want to burn, right? We don't really lose it. We have to use it. If you want to get rid of excess body fat, you have to eat in a different way than you would as a maintenance
For a period of time.
for a period of
So I
time.
think that's what's key here. That's what I'm trying to call out is,
I was
there was
maintaining.
nothing that you were doing wrong, right? I said, what did you mess up? Nothing. You were in like a very pure, awesome maintenance mode, but the deficit that you need to be in for a period of time to get to a place where you use up some of those storage,
Yeah.
those storage kind of whatever,
Yeah.
then you can go back to what you were doing.
You know those posts that are like, unfortunately, it does work if you XYZ. These were the moments, right? So my dietary fat, for example, the breakfast I was telling you guys that I spoke to my coach about, hey, this is a normal breakfast for me. She's like, girl, you're probably putting down 35 grams of fat in that one meal.
Hmm.
And as it was revealed to me when she gave me my target macros for each meal, which macronutrient means protein, fats, and carbs, that's over like quadruple the amount I needed to stay within at each meal. So that was one huge thing. Definitely overeating dietary fat and definitely overeating it in each sitting. The other thing, my protein has always kind of been high. I've been pretty good about that for a while, but I did up it slightly. My target's now about 130, 140. So I'd say on my like, you know, yeah, that's, I guess maybe I didn't up it, but it feels like I'm upping it per meal. And that's, I would say, is the other big item here. Is like for so long I thought, oh well, if I just eat this much in a day, if my day looks like this, if I eat 150 grams of protein in the whole day, this is what I'm going to hit. But what I have learned through Lisa is that we really want to narrow in at each meal time. We really want to look at every time you're sitting down to eat, giving your body the appropriate balance of fats, carbs, and protein at that meal, because then you're going to be waiting 4 hours before your until your next meal. And in that 4 hour period, if you have not consumed too much carbs or too much fat, which both are a source of fuel, and if you've properly given your body the amount of protein it needs to feel safe, to understand that it's not going to have to tap into its own muscle to break down amino acids because you're fueling it with protein in, then your body will naturally go into a fat burning phase. The other piece here, that, of course, that we're tinkering with is calories. So, yes, I have to enter a calorie deficit. I am eating less calories than I have in the last decade. But I'm not starving my body of nutrients it needs. And I think that's the most important thing. This is why calories in, calories out doesn't work. Because if you just go by calories and say you're eating like 1,400 calories of potato chips or something wonky, like like I might have done in my early days of just trying to be restrictive, of course your body's going to go into a tailspin. It doesn't have what it needs. It doesn't have the micronutrients, the macronutrients, the anything that it needs to function. But by looking at it each meal, giving my body protein every 4 hours, like a lot of protein. I'm talking 30 to 40 grams of protein per meal.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You really have to try hard for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm letting my body know it's safe. I'm giving it fuel. I utilize carbs now as, how active am I about to be? Am I about to go hit a strength workout? Yeah, 40 grams carbs, hit it. Great. Wonderful. Or did I just finish a strength workout? Great. 40 grams carbs at that meal. Even 40 grams of carbs, if you guys are paying attention, is so low compared to what I would have eaten. I probably was eating more like 120 grams of carbs per meal,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. I mean, so, and this is someone who's tracked. I have tracked and I have done all the things, right? I obsessed over blood glucose. And honestly, none of those learnings steered me wrong. They were all super useful and I'm using them now. But again, I wasn't pulling the levers at the same time
Mm-hmm.
that I am now. So I would say calorie deficit with the preface of you're eating the right amount of each macro, having those 4 hour window periods where your body can tap into its fat stores. And that's really what happens. And I haven't even like really tuned up the strength training part of it. But I imagine when I do, that will help as well.
Why is this learning important? Why should somebody know this? Why should somebody consider trying this for themselves?
I think that if you are in a period of your life where you have extra body fat that you want to burn and you want to hang on to your muscle mass or you want to increase your muscle mass, the language online is so confusing. And I'm always going to advocate for working one-on-one with someone because, or like buying into a program or someone smarter than you teaching you what to do, because it's hard for us to DIY this. But there's also little principles you can take away today about really understanding what you're actually eating. I think most people are in complete denial of what they're eating. I think they probably think they're eating a high protein meal and they're maybe getting 18 grams of protein. I think so many people, because I've either been them or been friends with them or family, believe like, I don't eat that much sugar, but their overall carb intake is insane. Maybe you didn't eat the sugary cookie, but you had 2 servings of potatoes, a cup of rice at dinner, 3 slices of bread at breakfast, and then some crackers. I don't eat sugar, but do you see what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you really dial in, and this is the piece where, again, the question of like, well, isn't this disordered eating? And I'd love to circle back to that. But when you really dial into what you're eating, you get an actual, imagine like your car and like the panel that you look at to tell you like how fast you're going and your gas meter. What is that called? Your dashboard. You actually get a dashboard when you start to track these things and you can see exactly what you're putting into it. Otherwise, you're kind of flying blind.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if you are someone like me who likes to kind of learn in waves, and maybe you're in like a season of like, oh, I'm really interested in glucose, or I'm going to get really interested in sourdough, or give me all the whole raw milk, or like animal fats aren't bad for you. That's wonderful. All those things are true. And also, if your body is in a state where you want to burn some extra fat, sorry, you shouldn't eat the ribeye maybe at that meal. You should pick a leaner cut. Like both can be true. So that's why it's important, is because it's really hard to do this given the chaos of information online. And I think getting back to the basics and knowing that your body is truly fueled and fed is the best way to approach it, so that you know you're not trashing your hormones or hurting your fertility or any of that. Like, we don't want to do any of that.
As your husband that loves you, I'm going to add some why. Some whys that
Oh,
you've,
was that not the answer you
that
wanted?
was great. But it's all, I think there's some additional why that you've given me, maybe in private, or things that you've told me that I feel
Air it
that
on the
you would be
show.
very happy for me to share. And there's, it's so.
On this week's episode, you're hearing us talk a lot about fueling your bodies well. And truly, it's to like make the biggest impact in the world. That's the point of everything we're talking about. And that's why I love that we have partnered with Ancestral Supplements. They just, one, their team is incredible. I love them. Wonderful, wonderful people over there. But every product they make, they want it to be the best, high quality, most potent thing that you have in your pantry or in your supplement closet. So they have unbelievable purity. They do third party lab testing. You guys have heard me talk about them over and over, but I love Ancestral Supplements because they do really have such a broad line that if there's something specifically that you want to tweak with and you want to work on, maybe it's your blood health or your bone health or your hormonal health or your digestive health, like whatever it is, they've got things for you. And I always recommend the best thing to do is to go on their website and read through the product descriptions, because they have a really good information on like, this is exactly what colostrum does, or this is exactly what collagen does. If you're ever like, why do people take that? Go to the website and read it. It's got wonderful information, but also you can read people's testimonials in the forms of their reviews. It's wonderful. If you go to ancestralsupplements.com/homegrown, you can see the products that we have in our pantry. All my favorites are right there. I've hand selected them. And you can click into each one and read the product description and see if it's something that you want to work on as well. Maybe it's digestive health, maybe it's hormonal, maybe it's overall nature's best multivitamin, which would be beef liver. Whatever it is, find something for you. Use code homegrown at checkout for 15% off and start leveling up your health in an ancestral way. Hazelmeyer Goods holiday market is right around the corner. I am so excited. I have hand selected a few new items for the shop. That's why we've said goodbye to a few old ones. And I'm just so excited to show you guys this like curated list of things that we're going to have. But then we're also featuring our forever loved products like our homemade sourdough tools. If you are in the sourdough game at all and you don't have a proofing basket yet, or you don't have one of our hand carved wooden spurtles or our kitchen whisk, it's my favorite thing to mix because it's just a big wooden circle. It doesn't get all gummied when you're mixing that dough. Go to shoptheh.com and check it out. Use code homegrown at checkout for 10% off. And our sourdough tools have been created and curated over years of doing sourdough, but then also finding partners to make these things. Our stuff is handmade right here in the United States. We're not shipping this over from China. We are not outsourcing things from other places for the sake of having a shop. We found people that we love that make products that we designed with them to offer you guys. And so the sourdough tools comes to mind as one of our beloved products because it's something I use every time I bake sourdough. And it's been in our home for years and I've loved it. And I think you guys will love it too. So go to shoptheH.com to check out our sourdough tools and other things too. And use code Homegrown at checkout for 10% off.
When you are attempting to be as healthy as possible and there's just something inside you that says something's not working, it's not right. I don't feel, I'm not the person I once was why can't I have the body that I had? And then what happens is all this noise comes up of society.
Mm-hmm.
There's like movements of like body positivity and like, there's, that's not all negative, but like there's some there where it's like, don't try to change who you are. And it's like, well, you changed yourself at some point,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like if I go eat chips every day, stop running, and I gain a bunch of weight, me, Joey Hazelmeyer, well, I maybe unintentionally gained that weight. Well, once I'm on the other side of that, if I just say, well, you know what? I am who I am.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what? Why can I unintentionally do something to myself, but not intentionally do something that I want?
Right. Yeah.
So strange, right? And so the confidence, so the other piece would be confidence of like
Yeah.
knowing that you are doing something successful, seeing the progress, feeling in control, knowing that I am not a slave to food. I'm not a slave to fitness. I'm not a slave to this like worldly, like this is my body, right? I'm in control, and knowing what to do, what levers to pull, what kind of fuel to add into the mixture, like knowing those things gives you that peace of mind of knowing like, you know what, if things aren't going the way I want to do it, then like you can kind of tweak something, you can kind of make an adjustment, you can, it's not just, all right, get back out there and get on the treadmill and run and run and run and run and run, and then nothing works, and then until you run yourself to death and you realize like, I just can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, it's a failure, right? Losing can destroy momentum in your life. And so often you'll see people, not just women, but encounter this wall and they can't get through it. And they try, and they try, and they try. And there's the influencers that are out there that just like use discipline and keep going and suffer. Life sucks. David Goggins, run 300 miles. And it's like these people are like motivated and they're inspired and they're disciplined. And then like, it's like, how much discipline do they got? A year? 2 years, 3 years, four. You yourself said 4 years. You've been wanting to lose weight 4 years. You got 4 years in you. You got 5 years in you. It's like, because you went 4 years without making the progress you wanted to make.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, how many more years did you have left before you said, screw it?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're broken and you feel like a failure and you can't do it. And you look around, other people can. You don't understand. You don't know what's going on. You don't know why. I'm broken. It's like, that is not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's the other why that I'm watching you receive that makes me so happy as a husband is freedom. And it's freedom through education. We've talked about this on this channel forever,
Yeah.
right? Knowing what to do and how to do it to take care of yourself in the best way possible with food is freedom. Because now you're not just like a slave to it, not knowing and listening to somebody else, and you get to make the decisions. You're in control. And so, anyways, I'm very thankful that has happened, and it's a really cool story if you start from the very beginning of the misguided, terrible motives that you started with
Yeah.
food and with health and with fitness and with weight loss to today, which is mother of four, strong, amazing wife, mother, influencer, whatever you want to call you, all the things, author, and now you're like, no, and now I'm going to take control of my health too, in a way that you want. I like that.
Yeah, I think, like even you said before we started recording, Satan's always going to twist this narrative. If he's not keeping you chained to the food itself. He'll want to chain you to the exercise or the
Exactly.
obsession of your body, or he'll whisper in your ear and say, "You're fine. You don't need to change that. Don't worry about that." Whatever it is. And so that's why you have to have kind of your North
Sure.
Star, to be like, no, 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 no. What's biologically correct for my body?
Mm-hmm.
What's right for my body in this current season?
Mm-hmm.
I'm done having kids. I've had 4 kids. I have 3 daughters. I want to show them what a strong mother looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Not, I don't want to be just like petite for petite's sake.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not interested in that.
Yep.
But I also know that, like, the more I can be someone that my daughters look at and say, I like that about her, the more they're going to listen to me, especially as they become
Sure.
teenagers. Like, my physical appearance matters to them,
Mm-hmm.
and it matters to me. And it matters to me how I feel when I show up places, or like what I want to wear. I have clothes in my closet that I love, but it's just like a little too tight. And it's like, come on, I can't wait to wear that pair of jeans again and feel amazing in it after the 4th kid. There's things that, again, if that's you and you're just like, oh, you got to find your North Star, whatever the phrase is, because it's such a tricky conversation and Satan's always going to try to keep you out of your best.
Many of the things we've said in this conversation may be triggering for you. And if you're upset or you're annoyed, you hate me, you hate Elizabeth, message us. Tell us. We love to hear the hate.
I don't think we said much that's going
But
to be super
I
triggering.
will say, if you are feeling that way, is it possible that you're feeling things that we have also felt, which is, I shouldn't go down that road. I shouldn't talk about this thing. I shouldn't XYZ. And it's like, no, that's crazy. You are allowed to be healthy. You are allowed to avoid the extra donuts. You are allowed to drop the like pasta bread bowl off the menu, right? You're allowed to do that.
Is that still a thing
I'm sure.
at Panera?
I
Yeah,
don't know.
discipline does not equal disordered. It does not. I know what both feel like. I can tell you an eating disorder feels like control, hate, just absolute destruction, leads to no good. You're never satisfied. You're never happy, always looking for more weight loss, more deterioration of your body. Just, that's not the goal. But discipline, not to take Jocko's phrase, but just discipline equals freedom, right?
Yeah.
Discipline leads you to a place where you are free.
Mm-hmm.
Once keep in mind, this program I'm doing is 12 weeks, guys. I'm 6 weeks in. It's 12 weeks and I have the foundation for the rest of my life to figure this out. So it's a very short period of my life that I'm dedicated to being disciplined. And on the other side of that, I get freedom. Freedom to be comfortable, freedom to know what to eat to feel my body well, freedom to not fear this like elusive, like, oh, what if I hit menopause and I gain weight? No, I don't have to have that fear. Zero fear. None, because I know what to do. So that's the difference between discipline and disordered.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get them twisted, you're going to stay stuck.
Yeah. So the how, people may want to start doing this. What can we do? Because their macros, their protein, their system, the amount of effort, it's going to be different than yours,
Yeah,
different than another's.
totally.
Everyone's going to be individualized. What's a good starting place?
Well, they always say, and I agree, a good starting place would be to get a grasp on what you're currently doing so that you have an idea. Because if you've never tracked a day in your life, you might not have an idea. And I'm saying track the tablespoon of butter you put in the pan to cook the chicken, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to track everything you're eating, again, not from a perspective of I fear this, but to know.
Get data collection.
It's not bad to know. So
What's my current
data.
baseline?
Right. What's my current baseline?
You can't do a cut or a bulk, right? Depending on what you're trying to do. If
or
your body,
adjust anything if you don't know.
If you're looking for maintenance, if you're looking for bulking or you're looking for cutting, this principle applies, right? Mm-hmm. So data collection, what are my current macros that I'm intaking on a regular basis?
Right.
And then it becomes a tinkering situation.
Yeah.
Up or down. You want to lose weight, then you're going to need to eat you're in a deficit while also maintaining muscle to maintain cardiovascular health, right? Mm-hmm. To keep your metabolism going. Sorry. Mm-hmm. So metabolic rate increases with muscle mass, And so keeping your protein level steady is going to keep that going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are you looking for more? You want me
No,
to dish out
that
more?
no. I mean, do you have more?
Well, I have some interesting things that I learned, and I'll just give you these nuggets of wisdom and you can take them on your way. One of the biggest things I've learned so far is that your body has this kind of like hierarchy of energy it's going to burn. So the very first place your body's going to go to burn energy to like let you see or like function at a base level or go for a walk or stand up and cook dinner is going to be the food you just ate.
Mm-hmm.
The glucose and the food that you just ate, it's like ready, primed, it's right there. Body takes it up. That's why we eat. That's a good thing. Then after that, once that, say you've eaten maybe hours ago, your body's going to tap into either glycogen stores in the liver, usually that. Once that is gone, so that's food you ate a long time ago that ended up getting stored in your liver, now recycled for fuel. Maybe you have to go for a walk and you're like, I didn't eat for 4 hours before, but my liver has glycogen, so great. Your body does that. Then your body kind of hops to triglycerides in the bloodstream, which is again from food that you have eaten at one point in your life that's been stored. And only then, after all of those have kind of been like tapped, does your body start to tap into its stored body fat. So you can see how there's many different steps before you hit that fourth pillar of fat burn. And that's always the thing that we think we burn first. We think, oh, I skipped a meal, I'm probably burning fat. It's like, no, you're not. You're burning glycogen in your liver or triglycerides or whatever. And so that just meant, and we're gonna have Lisa on the show, so
That fat is comfortable.
she can correct
It's
that fat
comfortable.
is comfortable. It is so protected.
Yeah.
It is so protected because you wanted it to when we didn't have such readily available food sources. So yeah, I'm glad you're getting that because that really was a shift for me because I was like, why does this feel so hard? I feel like I'm battling nature. And then my coach Lisa was like, girl, this is kind of how it's designed. And I was like, oh, okay. And now, so through her program, there's a way to sort of lower the threshold so you can like stealthily tap into that fourth bucket without having to go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that's where working one-on-one with the coach is like ideal. So having that, maybe understanding that concept is helpful for people, understanding what you're currently eating. I know people have like chat GPT macros. I'm not sure that that's the way to go. I wouldn't point someone in that direction necessarily, but you won't lose by understanding what you're currently eating. If anything, that's a great starting point.
And be consistent.
I have to be so consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. To the point where like my meals are timed.
Mm-hmm. And everyone does, to be clear, in their own way. If I want to lose weight, I have to also be consistent. Mm-hmm. I can't just, I want to lose weight and then it just goes away. It doesn't work like that. I would also have to be consistent. But the ease of said consistency starts with knowing how to do it, right? The must be nice really should be, must be nice to know how to lose weight. I don't know how, right? That's really what it is. Not must be nice to be a man that gets to lose weight easily. It's just that men stumbled across it easily because we're all knuckleheads. We thought, oh, just run.
Not
and it
all
just so
men,
happens
though.
that works.
Yeah, but like not even all men. Like
No, yeah, you're right.
that really is like a you thing.
That's right.
Or like your body type thing.
That's right.
One other nugget I feel like is helpful for people to understand is the thermal effect of food. This was kind of a newer concept to me. So your body, when you eat it, it has to burn energy to digest that food. So that's understandable. We have to burn. I've heard of that before. Like, oh, if you eat an apple, it's negative calories because your body has to burn it. But that's not really what I'm talking about. So this that's the eating disorder talking. Okay. Ignore that. That's not what you want. This thermal effect.
Free celery.
Let me eat this. It's fine. No, that's ridiculous. Fuel your bodies to do the work the Lord set out for you. That's what we want. So the thermal effect of food is so cool because protein as a macronutrient, specifically like meat, like not like soy protein, but like meat, whole food forms of protein, has the highest thermic effect of food, which means that it takes your body the most energy to digest and assimilate those amino acids and use them and put them wherever they need to go, which is cool because you could say like, hey, I ate 120 calories of this, but actually I only took in 70% of that because 30% was burned right off the top just to digest it. Okay. So if you're talking about the nuances of caloric deficits, food is not equal. You can't just be like, oh, well, I only ate 1,400 calories or 1,500 calories or 1,800 calories. Yeah, but what was the true thermal effect of your food?
Mm.
So, this is where I'm not going to get into all of it, but think about choosing the whole food first. That whole apple is going to be way better than the applesauce that's been processed and some of
Even
the,
if it's the same calories,
even if it's the same
because of the
calories.
effort it takes to digest it, adding to like your
Yeah, it's clocking.
yeah, it's clocking.
It's clocking
I'm
with
on
you.
business over here.
You're standing on it. So, like, a steak is going to be way better than the protein shake. Now, there's room for everything, right? But I'm just telling you, like, that's a cool little, it feels like ninja magic trick you get to use is like when you choose whole food sources, you're even more potent in your journey.
Yeah.
So, taking the whole food sources, which is like everything we've talked about on the Homegrown podcast, obviously, we're not recommending like go eat a bunch of protein power bars, but those would have a lower thermic effect,
Sure.
right? So, it wouldn't be as quality. And we know this intuitively, like we know that it's better to eat that way, but I think life can just take over and we can get a little lost in the numbers. But I thought that was a cool
That
concept.
is cool.
Be like, oh, my body's working hard to get this food, and I'm really,
Well, we'll do a deep dive on this topic when we get Lisa on the show.
I haven't
Thank
even
you.
asked her, but I'm assuming she'll come on.
When
So
we get somebody like Lisa on the show, thank you for sharing. I know that this was my idea, and I was like, hey, let me just ask you a bunch of questions because I just believe that things like this can be powerful for people to unlock that control, that education, that freedom. And I just want to encourage people out there that this is part of the journey. This is part of being wildly capable. Part of being wildly capable is knowing what to do, having a plan, and then activating that plan. Is there anything else to encourage people as we set off here?
I was just really encouraged by Courtney, who is the all-star. We did record an episode with her. It's coming out soon, but like she is the all-star model for hiring a coach when there's something in your life you don't fully understand. And that is a concept I didn't take into consideration until like recently. So I think that's part of the wildly capable thing is like outsource your learning. Learn from someone smarter than you.
Mm-hmm.
There's areas that you don't even know you need to know about, but there's a coach for it. Not saying it always has to be like a monetary thing, but like find the mentor in your life who can teach you the thing. And, hopefully at some point this podcast feels that for you and we'll get Lisa on, my actual coach. But yeah, I just was really encouraged by that. And that's such a good mentality to not waste 4 years of be
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, well, this is just kind of how I am. But to be like, no, you know what? I'm going to hire someone and like figure it out. I
Yeah.
remember I was like nervous to tell my workout group, like I hired a coach and they actually all started cheering for me and they were like, I think that's the best thing ever. So don't
Love
feel
it.
nervous if you're worried. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
So cool. All right, friends.
That's
Until
it.
next time.